So guys, today I'm going to conduct a session on Fusion PPM cloud offerings. Uh, like before I start, let me introduce myself. Uh, I hope like everybody can hear me clearly. Okay, thank you so much. Uh, so myself Rohit, I'm working as a IT professor, and then my total experience in this industry is about 10 plus years of experience. My total expertise is on e-business suite, release 12, release 11, as well as on a Fusion PPM side from starting from release 6 to release 11. I have total domain experience as a functional on service industries, as well as part of automobile industries, as well as on engineering and domain industries. So I have completed many projects in implementation, as well as given a support as well, and then conducted a lot of trainings in this area, ranging from e-business suite, release 12, as well as on cloud. So that's all from my side. If you wanted to get in touch, then you can route to Mr. Laxman, who is the person in charge of this ERP tree. So before we start, let's we have follow some protocol in order to accomplish our complete training, so that we will be on the same page, and then there will not be issues to other participants. So usually I would like to conduct a training where I would encourage my participants to ask questions whenever they feel so. Uh, I would be happy like if you store your questions, and then we can open the lines in order to get those questions, and then I'll respond to those questions one by one. Uh, you can directly pose the questions, and I'll try to respond if it's an immediate need at that moment itself, or post each session will try to respond it, so that it should not block the chain of thoughts, and that will be really uh, really good for everyone's conduction. Otherwise, people get disturbed, and the chain of thoughts get disturbed. Then I might miss some important or valid points, which is I would have shared with all of you. So with most of my assumption is that I'll be conducting training for the people who already aware of e-business suite, probably release 12 project accounting modules. Okay. So many occasions I'll be carrying out the terminology from e-business suite, comparing with a Fusion PPM or cloud PPM. I'll here onwards I'll try to use the word cloud PPM more oftenly and less Fusion PPM. The reason is like Oracle wanted to emphasize everything on a cloud, and Fusion is a byproduct for Oracle, in order to get everything on a cloud and give the customer uh, benefits. So you hear when I said cloud PPM, then termed as a Fusion PPM, and we'll learn why I am, referring the word cloud, and how the cloud is being, a lot of talked about, and being sometimes hyped about. But then the cloud has very important role in today's technology world, and Oracle has really, given its best to, raise their footprints in cloud. So I'm moving to the next slide, which will explain uh, the contents, the demo agenda of today's session. We'll walk through on Fusion applications and the cloud offerings for Fusion applications, the implementation models, the architecture, enterprise structure, and then we'll talk about overview of PPM, lifecycle, and cloud deployment. The reason to include this agenda is like uh, uh, when you sit for any cloud training, let's say for procurement, finance, or PPM, you're supposed to know the end-to-end cloud solutioning which Oracle is provided. And when you sit in front of client or when you actually go for any implementation or when you conduct any CRPs, you will not only have the questions related to the product, let's say for project portfolio management or finance, but then you are responsible for providing end-to-end solution to the customer because customer looks you as a cloud, solutioning perspective and not just a product perspective. So he really does not care like, what product knowledge you have, but then what solution you are going to offer, that is very important. So I believe like understanding cloud from end-to-end perspective is very important. So I've included this contents on in our first demo agenda. And then it will be easy for you to have familiar with cloud terminologies, the cloud architecture, as well as the enterprise structure before actually jumping to project portfolio management as one of the part cloud offering we will be going to the training. So hope you will not have much issues on carrying out this agenda. And with that understanding and faith, I'm moving further. Thank you. So Oracle Fusion applications is actually, it's a name suggests it's a fusion application, which is a new jump from, e-business suite application, what was Oracle offering few years back. And the fusion applications is actually designed on certain principles. Okay, and we will carrying out all these principles, what all those, and the important principle what they have actually come up of on, or the design driven decisions behind the fusion applications. The name suggests it's a fusion. So Oracle has lot of products in their kitty, and you currently aware that they have acquired PeopleSoft, okay, JD AdWords. So a lot of other ERP suites they have acquired, and what they have, Siebel CRM is one of them. So what they have actually done is they have studied the the benefits of other products, okay, and then try to fusion it in a single product so that customer will always have best of breed offerings for their solution. So it's a fusion of, it's a best of breed, best practices, best business process by product. It comes under one umbrella. It's called a fusion applications. So the design-driven decisions are the best business processes, the best practices business processes. So they have streamlined all the industry practices and summarized them into the best business processes and the practices. So few of them are like now entire fusion applications. Okay, here onwards I'm going to try the cloud applications will be based on role-based model. Okay, this fusion applications has a lot of pre-configured roles where you will have entire throughout entire all technological products. These roles will be enforced. Okay, then this product have all the best of breed configurable and extensible to suit various customers needs, and the application is designed with that composite and contextual manner. Okay, so and it's also have a social and collaborative integrations. So you can have your social interactions whenever you're doing any invoicing, any payments, you can have your social network connected, and then you can share the information which you feel so, and that information is also secured. So the best of practices is one of the main driven to conduct or to design the Fusion applications. So when this best of breed product has been designed with the best practices approach in mind, they have the best of breed deployment options also. We'll cover these options in detail in few our talks, but then those are like on-premise, public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid. Okay, we'll go in detail as we move further. So any questions till this point, anybody, then please raise. I'll try to respond or else we can move further. Okay, so let me move further. So as I said that it's driven on one of the decisions of best of breed practices. It's also driven as a standard based platform. Okay, so the below names are actual technological names, which is nothing but it's a middleware suite or Fusion middleware suite on which an entire Fusion application stands. Okay, so these middleware suites, as I mentioned over here, it's like web centers, Oracle Web Center, Oracle Business Intelligence, SOA, WebLogic, etc., etc. Okay, we will not look into in everything in detail, but I would definitely tell you what is their applications as a middleware. How can it says as a standard based platform, so that you will have overall understanding. So if tomorrow some questions comes about anything like enterprise manager, so you should not stunt or you will not stunt or you can at least understand what it is. Okay, so Oracle Web Center is a middleware application, one of the middleware application in entire middleware Fusion middleware suite, where you can create your you can create your separate websites, or you can create your separate portals. You can connect, you can extend the current portals. Okay, so it is something like you have, if the customer needs that, they wanted to have their internal portal for their internal application where only informations are going to be shared with their own cloud applications, then web center is one of the option for you. Okay, then business intelligence, as you're aware that in fact in when e-business suite was there, so we have a very coupled tight integrations with business intelligence, where you can derive your all reporting in different dimensions, because entire application is based on the reporting. Unless the reporting is not good, the application does not incur much value. So business intelligence is where you can derive reports on and various dimensions and make use of reporting in real time. Okay. The universal content management is nothing but your a content storage where all your documentations, version control documentations, all your repositories, okay, where you can store at one place, have your version control, and have it integrated with your existing Fusion suite. Okay, so a SOA is used for your integration purpose, where you have your peripheral systems or legacy applications or the legacy cloud applications, where you wanted to have integration with your current cloud applications or Fusion applications. So your SOA suite comes in a picture where it gives you very flexible integration, the drag and drop facilities to map your the input and output and have your data flow from one place to another place. So WebLogic is the a Fusion middleware server where you can have most of things running on the standard Java enterprise platform. Okay, so Oracle has chosen Java because Java is a universally adopted standard language. Okay, uh, for entire your sockets or communications or your entire application platform programming. So this WebLogic actually holds that true, and then your entire applications can be easily extended or easily integrated, easily tightly coupled with the Fusion applications. So JDeveloper is a standard platform where you can create your uh, Oracle applications web pages, where you can create your applications in same structure what the Fusion applications libraries or the look and feels gives. So it has inbuilt memory libraries where you can use it and you can have it. The Enterprise Manager is a tool which is provided by Oracle in order to manage all the enterprise's applications inside your Fusion middleware suite, as well as it gives you a lot of cloud deployment capabilities if the people or the customer opt for a public cloud or opt for a PaaS or infrastructure as services. So Enterprise Manager is hold very strong footprint in Fusion build applications. Then Oracle Identity Manager, I think like you all guys will be connecting to Oracle Identity Manager for a long time, because this is the concept where you can, which was you might have not seen in e-business suite, but then it's there in Fusion applications where the entire user and user identity and user privileges are been operated in Identity Manager. So it is like a consistent application platform where you can have your entire the user roles and securities and credentials are been enforced across all the applications from one single place. So it's a single place of your identity management. Guys, you have any questions on this? Uh, Generally, this is not a big thing, but then you should aware of all these terminologies. That's why the reason I included it, so that you won't get surprised with this terminologies once you come into fully working in Fusion applications projects. Okay, thank you.
I'm Venkat here. See, Vasu here. Kaush, so can you tell about the test? So is it talk the legacy system or what it do actually? So is OA so.
Yeah. So a service-oriented architecture. Uh, okay, take an example where you have uh, you have your legacy system where your timesheets are recorded, okay, let's say, and those timesheets you wanted to interface, okay, in your cloud PPM applications, okay. Now, customer has not opt for Oracle time and labor, okay, where you can have your timesheets entered itself in the cloud application. But due to some reasons, they are having their own legacy application where they are recording their timesheets very peacefully from last 10 years, and they don't want to change it, okay. Now, SOA plays a very important role in integrating these two applications all together with the service-oriented architecture. The service-oriented architecture works in such a fashion where you will not write anything uh, from a scratch to map your legacy and pull data, push data, wait for data to be pulled, wait for applications to be pushed, the records getting pushed. So a lot of these things is being eased out in SOA using a drag and drop facility. So how the drag and drop facility works is you have your source system and you have your target system. So you just you just implement the connectivity in between. So you have your mappings ready, okay, and you just map your source to target. That's all you do, okay, and then create that integration as a service, okay. and you can have your pull and push defined, or you can say configured at a specific event, the business event. Let's say the timesheet has been entered and it has been approved. So once that event get triggered in your legacy application, your service oriented architecture called your the specific service of your timesheet integration, and then it pulls that data and then push that data to your interface table in let's say PPM, or it push that data directly to your base tables in PPM, so that your approved timesheet is available for your costing and billing purpose. Okay, so you are not writing any interfaces, but what you are doing is like you are just creating SOA service, and then that SOA service works according to the business logic, the business time interval, the business definition, and then that your integration part completes. So am I like clear like what SOA actually stands with that example I given to you, or please let me know.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Thank you. In addition, small doubt.
Yeah.
So, is it only for PPM stuff, or can we use the same thing for huge financial and other stuff also? For example, any legacy data is there, 10 years history, 5 years historical data is there. Can we use for the at that point of time also? We can use the same thing.
Yeah, it is actually independent of independent of product. Like it can be used for finance, it can be used for procurement, it can be used for order management. So you can
Okay.
use independent of product. Second thing, you can use independent of data. Like, if there is a legacy data for your old application, which is only having as a repository and nothing else, and you want a partial data for, let's say, for 2 years within that 5 years, and you want that SOA to be take apart, then you can opt for a SOA. But then there are other ways to opt for that legacy data, because SOA generally used for interfaces, and whatever the data you wanted to transfer from legacy applications just for viewing purpose and not for operation or transaction purpose. And there are other options, like you can have your business intelligence adapters connected, and then that data get flows in specific time interval, and it will be available for your reporting. Okay, so understand that SOA is generally used for your real-time data integration, where you have your transactional data get interfaced from one place to another place. If you want that data which is just for reporting purpose, then you better opt for your business intelligence adapters and get that data interface to your applications. So there are separate
Thank,
products available in
thank,
better version.
yes, thank you very much.
So let me move further with the hope that there are no other questions and this slide is clear for you. Okay.
Okay.
So security is another driven factor for Fusion applications design decisions. Okay. So as I already covered that one of the best practices approach method is your role based. So security is a role based access. Okay. So as I told you that there are pre-configured roles given to you for all your application accessibility and or application processing. So these roles are actually played major key things in your security, because your entire application access is based on these roles. Okay. Whereas in e-business suite, your entire application access was based on the responsibilities. Okay, but then those guys who knows uh, e-business suite project accounting, then they might aware that there is some role-based access control in the project accounting as well. Okay, but then don't confuse with that. We'll take it in detailed fashion. Okay, we'll talk about role-based access in tomorrow's session. So just try to understand as an overview point of view that you will never have any kind of responsibilities terminologies in Fusion applications or cloud applications, and everything is role-based access control. Okay, so the segregation of duties is a part of your role-based access. Like your due now, those roles are got divided into job roles, application roles, then application roles or job roles got divided into further duties. Okay, the duties got divided into entitlements or the privileges. Okay, so you have your consistent duties, across various modules. Okay, so example, like your duty is project management duty. Okay, one of your duty is your project administrator duty. One of your duty is your payables manager duty. Okay, so these are the duties, these are the nothing but your tasks. Okay, those groups into your roles. So we'll see it in detail, but then, so these are the major design decisions which is actually separate your Fusion applications from the rest of the applications. And like if people little bit aware of about the PeopleSoft, okay, so and the CBIL, so these all actually driven from these applications because these have actually designed in real intelligence sense, and Oracle has learned quickly to get those best of breed designs and then accommodate into the Fusion applications. Okay, so because of this a standardized role-based model or the duties, so you have your consistency in all your data securities. Okay, so you have your enforcement of these duties or rules across all the models. So let's say tomorrow if Oracle comes with a new product range, then they need not to worry much about these rules and duties, because the rules and duties are hold into identity manager and application policy manager. We'll see it what APM stands for. Okay, but then these all the consistent across all the products. So it is like a single source of your truth which is applicable to all product lines. Okay, so uh, they have achieved the standardizations and they have achieved the consistency. So this is really very beneficial for for the customers having their Fusion applications in a place. So it gives really best of breed product capabilities and the standardization approach. Okay. Hope people are clear, and anybody has any questions? Okay. Thank you. Let me,
Hello, Rohit.
yeah.
I have a question in the previous slide where you said the SOA, is it similar to JCS, the Java Web?
Okay, that's a really good question. The people aware of little more technologies can little get confused with this Java Web Services. It is I can say a fractional similarity. The fractional similarity is your web services can be used as your in service oriented architecture. Okay, but then those are very different things. There are two different things. Web services are used for a specific a purpose. Okay, so they have been designed for specific purpose. But then the SOA is a very broader concept, okay, and the web services is a small fit concept into the SOA. So we cannot compare both, but then it's a complement to each other, okay.
So do we need to have a separate license like a Apex database, JCS? So is this a third one that's called SOA?
Yes, so has separate licenses. Yes, it all comes with separate licenses, but then it all comes in a Fusion middleware. Okay, and if you opt for a cloud services, then you need not to bother much about it unless until you have your own customizations. You need to do it. Like for a SOA, let's say you opt for this cloud applications, okay, a cloud PPM, okay, and there are peripheral systems where you have your expenses coming out, you have your timesheets coming out, and those you need to integrate. Then you need to opt for SOA licensed separately, okay, because what you need to do is ideally there will not be directly a SOA license, but then it's called a ICS, integrated it's integrated cloud services. You have to opt for those licenses. So SOA license comes in sit in between the ICS. Okay, you understood, right? And had you been just opt for your cloud project portfolio management and cloud finance licensed, and you have your entire expenses and timesheets entered in these cloud applications, then there is no need. You will be only paying per user per month for your as a subscription fee. That's all. Okay, so you're not to bother about the licenses. You're getting what I'm
And
saying?
yeah, I got the concept. Is ICS part of PaaS model or is it a component of a on-premise?
Uh, it's it's see, we'll cover that in coming session, but then I would like to highlight the PaaS, okay, or uh, what you call SaaS, they are the deployment option, okay, and the ICS is a separate product which comes in fit as and when it's a required. So generally ICS comes in any situation. It comes in PaaS, it comes in hybrid, okay, but it comes in SaaS as well, unless until there are only pre-built integrations are available, okay. So you cannot say that it comes in particular deployment, because these are the deployment options we're talking about, PaaS, SaaS, as, okay. But then ICS is a separate product, okay, is a separate offering from Oracle side. Okay, we'll cover those deployment sections in detail.
Thank you, Rohit.
Okay, welcome. Okay, so I hope there are no questions on the security aspects. Okay, let's move further. So as the topic comes about the deployment options, okay, so we have seen that one of the design decision for Fusion applications is to have your a cloud platform or on-premise platform, okay. So under the cloud there are public cloud, there's a private cloud, and so on. Okay, so there are certain advantages, certain disadvantages having this deployment method on-premise and on cloud, okay. So when I say on-premise, what I mean is a client is offering a solution, a Fusion solution on their premises itself, okay, where they can have their own servers, where they can have their own team to manage those servers. They can have their own development team, okay, and they have their own people to manage the entire on-premise Fusion applications cloud, okay. So in that case, if you're going to do this, definitely the product line is the best of breed product, you will be getting it, but then managing everything on their place, with on-premise model, it's very costly, okay. So you have a lot of huge investment, okay. Anything goes wrong, you are responsible. Any upgrades you have to manage by yourselves, okay. All the data centers, these things you have to manage by on your cost, okay. On other side, okay, the advantage is, since you're managing your own application, you have a greater control, okay, on those application. You have a greater control on your network. You have a greater control on the speed of the application, the scalability of the application, as well as you have very good security for yourself, because it's entire your data center, it's very much secured, okay. On the other side, if you opt a customer opt for a cloud application as a deployment method, then the biggest advantage customer gets is less maintenance, okay. The less maintenance is in the sense that uh, customer is no longer being uh, having any headache of maintaining any servers for their site. Any upgradations or patch applications it's going to take care by Oracle Cloud Management Team. Okay, and what they're just paying is a subscription fee. So most of the customer would opt for cloud applications as a deployment part. The 90% people opt for, unless until there are business cases where you would have, on-premise application, or or a hybrid model where some part of it in on-premise and some part of it in cloud applications. So there is always advantage to host your application on a cloud where Oracle Cloud Management Team manages it, everything, from start to end, and you would only responsible for configuration, and then your application management point of view. Okay, we'll see in little more detailed. Okay, so those deployment platforms, what all those in detail when you actually move for cloud applications deployment. Okay, so hope anybody has any questions here about the advantage, disadvantage. Okay, so let me move further. Here you can see exactly what the difference is. Okay, so under the cloud model, you have three different models where you can have your Fusion implementations, management or the deployment options you can opt for. So SaaS is a software as a service. Okay, PaaS is a platform as a service, and IaaS is an infrastructure application as a service. Okay, so you looked at all these categories, the management categories, your application, security, database, operating system, virtualization, server, storage, networking, data centers. So entire managed by the vendor, which is Oracle Cloud Management Services, if you opt for SaaS. And what you actually pay is just a subscription fee per user per month basis. Okay, so this is very easy handle model, and the most of the customers actually opt for this particular deployment model. Where in platform as a service, you would only manage your applications, and the rest of the headache actually managed by your vendor. Okay, under this platform application service, there are advantages. Okay, if you actually opt for this particular service. Okay, the main advantage is the extensibility of your application is in your hand. Okay, whereas in a SaaS model there is very limited extensibility. Okay, when I say extensibility, what I mean is customizations. Okay, the customizations further is like something which is not uh, provided by Oracle as a seeded functionality. Okay, where you need to do some changes in your seeded functionality and make things work according to the business rules or the business definitions. Okay, so let's say you need to have capture some extra information, and then you need Oracle application page. Okay, you cannot have your own Oracle application page in SaaS. Okay, in PPM there are extensions, like the people who actually worked in e-business suite release 12 project accounting, you would have lot of extensions. There are labor extensions, there are costing extensions, there are billing extensions. Okay, there are approval extensions. So many extensions. So the problem with SaaS in cloud PPM, you will not support those extensions what you support in e-business suite release 12 project accounting models. Okay, but in a PaaS kind of structure, you would can easily support them, because the reason it will support them is its application is in your control. So when I say application is in your control, what exactly I say? Okay, what Oracle gives you, as we already cover in enterprise manage, Oracle Enterprise Manager as one of the product under the Fusion 11G middleware application suite. It's been given extensively for the people who opt for a PaaS solutioning. And due to that, the development team has the extra deployment capacity to deploy their custom code or the custom extensions into the applications, and they can manage their own applications. Okay, so under SaaS it's not possible, because SaaS is managed by Oracle Cloud Management. They don't have any idea what sort of customizations you are doing, where you're going to put these files, in which top you would be adding those. So nothing they have any idea. Okay, but in PaaS it's all given to you. You could do that. Okay, so uh, if you have such kind of business cases where you would need those extensions to be worked, then you actually opt for a PaaS. Okay, now looking at uh, infrastructure application as a service, okay, you would see that your security and the database, okay, is Oracle on top of application given to you for a management. Okay, so you have a way better flexibility to enhance your application structure. Okay, so it's way better, like in the sense in PaaS you don't have much control over security, although you have a control over your application management, but then you can make it more secure. Okay, because you have to opt for the security, the encryption provided by Oracle, the data flows on the internet. Okay, if you have a private cloud, then you can actually have it little more secure by having your virtual private networks, or but then on PaaS you still don't have that facility. Okay, but then as an application services, okay, uh, you would have that. Okay, you would have the entire database is in control. So when I mean is the entire database in control is like you can increase the RAM. Okay, you can increase the memory, you can increase the capacity of your database. So the only main advantage what I see having is application as a infrastructure as a service, a model where a large client size where you want everything is in your control. Okay, and then you want your your business is scaling with a rapid rate, and you have your wanted to manage your own data centers, then actually go for infrastructure as service. Okay, very few customers in the world they have opted for infrastructure as a service because it's a costly. It is something like what Oracle managing as their cloud management you would be doing at your site. Okay, most of it. So you would have your own team who manage security, database, and applications, and still most of the stuff is still on a cloud. But then you still do all your application, everything management from on your places. So everything has its own advantage and disadvantage. So it's very costly, and the SaaS is very like cost effective. So most of the people opt for a SaaS implementation methodology. Hope I'm clear, and the slide is very explanative to understand. Uh, any questions? I think one question Sandeep has asked me. Our client has passed but don't have access to Oracle management. Are you sure about the access to OEM pass? Sandeep, may I know what is OEM, what you try saying stands for?
Yes. When you said the difference between SaaS versus PaaS, you have mentioned that in PaaS, we can have access to OEM where we can deploy our own applications. The server
Okay,
suite is available.
okay, okay. Yes, yes. So that is the advantage of PaaS. Yes. So
Mhm.
you must have access to your enterprise management.
Uh, I thought we had, but when I checked, we don't have access to OEM in PaaS model.
Oh, is it?
They said
Okay.
it's only available in on-premise.
It's available on on-premise. Okay.
But I can double check with my
Yeah.
with the Oracle team.
Yeah.
Just sort of double checking with you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I am really not sure why they said that on premise. Okay. But then, but logically, you can understand that unless until you don't have the tools to deploy your, the extensions, how you're going to manage it. Okay, there must be some capabilities or some tools provided by Oracle to have a pass. Okay, otherwise there is no point you paying for a pass and doing nothing. Correct?
Well, with OEM, it's almost you have the complete access to your whole application. So it's not only that area, but pretty much everything can be accessed from OEM. And my understanding with PaaS is you can have only personalizations that can be done in SaaS model. In PaaS model, you can do some little extensions. By what I mean by that is we can be having some applications, custom applications that can be built and deployed in Java, JCS, and also a custom database that can be provided for us, and those can be used. Again, these two are like shared through for all the customers, not only for this customer, but can be shared. So those are the advantages with PaaS, but not really full access for our own application. Maybe I might be wrong, but that's the understanding that I'm having with PaaS.
Okay, yeah, fine. Try to cross check it. Okay, because uh, majorly I worked with the SaaS customers. Okay, and like I haven't come across with any implementation having a pass. Okay, there are few proposals came for a pass inquiry like RFI, request for information.
Mhm.
And what we have actually discovered is like Oracle is not completely ready with their pass itself. Okay, so they are in line to have the entire pass capability to rolled out. So maybe I'm not sure at which level they are currently, and when they are going to roll out entire capabilities, but then need to cross check it. It varies with the certain application version as well. So it's good point. Let me also cross check it. Okay, and then I will get back to you. But then if you get any idea,
A
then
confirmation, sure, I will post it on
yeah, yeah,
our group.
so that thing.
And we are currently on release 11.
Okay, so ideally you should have that. So let's see.
Yep. Thank you for the confirmation.
Okay,
I'll double check and
yeah,
update it once I have any confirmation.
sure, sure. Let us know. No problem.
Thank you, Rohit.
Okay, okay. So moving further, okay. Uh, so this is a Fusion application architecture. I think most of things we have already talked. Okay. Okay. Under the Oracle Fusion middleware section, which is on one or two slides we talked about. Okay. So this application architecture is divided into three layers. One is application product families. The other is a Fusion middleware, and third one is Oracle database. Okay. So what we are only looking at, or as is for this cloud PPM or Fusion PPM training perspective, is on the application product families. Okay. So here you would have a Fusion Financials, a Fusion Human Capital Management, HCM, uh, GRC, Government Risk and Compliance, Procurement, Supply Chain Management. So I think you must have already aware of all these product families, at least what it does, like financials does about your GLAP, AR, So there you would see a Fusion, Oracle Fusion setup. Okay. So this is a new thing you would be looking at. Okay. And GRC, the government risk and compliance, was already there in e-business suite, which is again become a part of Fusion product families. It's really have a very great control on your reporting and controlled their audit capabilities. Okay, so it's actually work for your audit controls and then your user controls. Okay, and all your reporting, your governance reporting management. So, and the Fusion setup is nothing but your Fusion application setup manager. Okay, we'll be looking at in detail. So, rest of things are self-explanatory on the Fusion product families. In order to go through. The Fusion middleware, as we already talked a lot about, okay, the identity manager, web centers, business intelligence, then your WebLogic servers, SOA, and BPM suite. BPM is one of the terminology which you must aware and will come frequently in talks when you actually started working on a Fusion applications project. Okay, and you must aware if you don't aware about if you don't know much about WSM policy, that nothing matters a lot. But then BPM is where a business process manager is it's a middleware suite where you can have your entire business process configured. It is something similar like you would work on Oracle workflows for your approval management, okay, or approval management engine AME, okay. So they try to have everything similar in a BPM. The most advantage of your BPM is you can actually on fly you can configure your approval groups, or you can have your own approval management chain, or you can have your approval rules changed in the production itself. Okay, so previously for a workflow you have to shut down that small piece of application, change in the workflow, deploy the workflow, a lot of steps. So here in the BPM you need not to do that. You just go on the fly, you can change, commit the changes, and your new approval rule or approval management on your business process, uh, it's live, it's ready for use. And this is also Oracle has uh, taken it from its peer products, and it was not Oracle's original concept, but then they have taken it and embedded into the Fusion middleware, and then have your Fusion applications with the best of it product. So like uh, you must also aware, like just for curiosity, like people says most oftenly when they Google it, okay, you would see that your Fusion applications 11G, okay, and 12C, okay. So you must also aware that what is this 11G is stand for, okay. So they try to keep that name as 11G uh, from their grid capabilities. Okay, so Oracle databases uh, till 10G they have your real application cluster capabilities where you can have your database on a fly into different servers at a one time. Okay, so you will always have one uh, backup running every time. So the 11G is like they have their grid capabilities and they wanted to continue, uh, and then that G stands for grid capability. So they have their advanced version of your RAC, you can say, and everything is on a grid. So you will always have your database live, or the application has uh, on fly running, or cloning, and everything is on a grid. So you will have almost 99% availability, okay, or more than 99% availability, I would say. So uh, and then 12C stands for actually it's it's their what you call is uh, generally I haven't seen that, but then I don't recollect the name. Okay, I'll tell you when I recollect it. Okay, I don't exactly remember, but then 11G is very familiar name. You must aware, and then should not get confused why that G stands for and why not there's a I. Okay, so Rohit has a question. Please speak loud. Okay, okay. So is it okay? Like, am I audible now properly? Okay. So Sandeep has one question. In Fusion, do we have Okay, I'm audible. Thank you. Do we have access to BPM database tables? BPM database tables. Okay. See, let me tell you, there is a separate application topology under which you would have access of all the tables. Okay, so like we have a FND tables uh, for our application core object library in eBusiness Suite. So I don't recollect the name of that initials, what it is actually, okay? But then yes, we do have the application access for those tables under that particular product category. The only thing is, if you have your SOA, sorry, not SOA, you have your SaaS deployment, then in fact, you're not in SaaS as well as in PaaS, you would only use your reports and analytical query to query, your reports, okay, or your query your tables, okay, or query your data. So there will not be direct access for your database where you can do query, uh, but then that's how it is. Okay, and in fact, like if you wanted to have a very detailed long query, then you can use your OTBI, like Oracle Transactional Business Intelligence. Okay, so which is a real-time application access where you can write queries and uh, access your data. Okay, so this is the very different change you must aware of when you actually work with the Fusion application environment or a cloud environment. Okay, so moving further. Okay, so now we'll talk about Fusion application enterprise structure. Okay, so I think it will not be difficult for you to grab this concept because most of you have already come from a background of e-business suite application, enterprise understanding. So you can try to correlate with it, okay, with the exceptions of few things which I'll explain you, okay. The exception, okay, let me talk about the exception because it will be easy for you to grab, most of the things if you really know what is that the exception is. The business unit, okay, if you looked at the structure, one of the diagram on my right hand side, which is entirely vertical, where you would see established enterprise structure under which there are divisions, there are legal entities, there are business units, there's a reference data sets. Okay, so business unit is the concept, okay, which is very new for the people who are already there on the e-business suite release 12 environment. uh, this business unit is actual original concept or original terminology which is actually talked in PeopleSoft, okay, and they have ideally steal it from PeopleSoft. Okay, so the people who are aware of the release 12 uh, architecture, they very much aware of the operating unit concept. Okay, so business unit and the operating unit are nothing but the same. Okay, so the operating unit is used to segregate the data or to secure the data. Okay, it's a logical partitioning in two statements. The business unit does the same thing, and there is no difference between operating unit and the business unit. Okay, the rest of things has a similar and less uh, the understanding, where you would have your divisions and the departments. Okay, you would have your legal entities are nothing but your company. You have your legal reporting for your companies, and you would have attached your balancing segments with your legal entities and a lot of stuff. So So legal entities is the same concept which is derived from e-business suite to a Fusion applications cloud structure. The divisions are nothing but your organizations. The department is nothing but your organizations. Okay, but it's categorized as a divisions. Okay, so you would have in real life you would have your divisions of your finance and control is one of the division, or general and administrative is one of the division. You can correlate it as a department also, or you can have it as a division. But then department has more solidified understanding. The division has very logical understanding. So under one division, you can have multiple department. Okay. Okay. So it's a very broad concept of your summarized department and have your one division. Okay. So legal entities is, as I told you, that the company who governance with the taxations and the reporting for that particular territory. Okay, like India, under the India we follow the Indian tax rules, and we have to supply our audit reports to government of India. Depends on what your private and public and then the state and all stuff. So we have the legal entities or the companies establishment under the Indian territory and under the law of government of India. Okay? So your legal entities have their own jurisdictions and the territory follows. So under legal entities, you would have your business units. Okay. So for instance, the business units would be a business unit for your retail business unit. Okay, if you are in the retail, let's say we'll take a common understanding example as a Tata Group. Okay, so your Tata Group, which very well you are all aware, like you know the Tata Consultancy Services, you know Tata Automobiles, you know Tata Chemicals. Okay, so if you looked at in that perspective, your establishment and the enterprise structure is a Tata Group. Okay, so under Tata Group, we would have divisions, okay, called Tata Chemicals, Tata Automobiles, okay. So under Tata Chemicals, you would, or under Tata IT services, you would have TCS, you would have Tata Infotech as your legal entities, because these two are liable for their taxation to government of India. So you would have TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, and you would have Tata Infotech, okay, under the IT division, I would say. And under the business unit, you would have a Tata IT services under Mumbai, a Tata services to Bangalore, Tata services to Chennai, okay. Or else you would have Tata services you can segregate for let's say cloud management, or Tata services for your infrastructure management. Okay, so it depends on the business to business how we wanted to segregate data. You would have your business units created. Okay, we will look into the reference data set in further detail, because if I start talking reference data sets, we'll talk a lot. Okay, so right now you just try to understand the reference data set is nothing but it is used for sharing common information across applications or specific to application. So it depends on, we are in the context of you wanted to share some specific application or some specific information to across various entities. Okay, so you make it common or make it public. Okay, and if you wanted to restrict, then restrict it for some specific identifiers. Okay, so in very common knowledge, if you wanted to share it, make it public. If you wanted to restrict it for specific entities. So the reference data sets then used for sharing and controlling your application data. Okay, you can say application setup in very detailed level, your configuration setup. Okay, you can actually share it across business unit or have it for a specific business unit. Okay, so that is the very basic concept of reference data. We'll actually learn how that reference data set in project portfolio management. Okay. So we'll also talk about business unit set assignments when we cover the reference data set. Okay. And then assignment of reference data sets to locations will talk in detail when we actually touch base the reference data set uh, learning. Okay. So anybody has any questions till this point? Okay, I hope not, because most of people are already from a release 12 background, so I don't find any much difference in the enterprise structure, except I told you about the exceptions as business unit reference data sets and the divisions. Okay. Okay. So now here we are going to talk about cloud PPM overview. Okay. So anybody has any questions till understanding about the entire application cloud terminologies? What is its cloud application? What all those deployment methods? What is suit to customer most? What is very very expensive for customers. So I think people have actually got more awareness what they were had previously about the Fusion applications and the cloud understanding. That is what I believe so. So please let me know if you still not clear to any concept. So so from here onwards, we will uh, more focus on the product perspective and not overall or overview of Fusion applications perspective. Okay. So I just wanted, like, our journey is started now in a different direction. Okay. So I wanted to ensure. So about the cloud PPM overview. Okay. As I've already covered, Fusion application design has a few major design driven decisions, okay, which we covered as a best practices, a security, a scalability, okay, lot of stuff. So similarly, PPM, a project portfolio management, a Fusion project portfolio management, or a cloud project portfolio management, okay, that has few design drive decisions, okay, which impacts the product design architecture itself, okay. And one of the key design decision is to drive insight, okay, and the real-time decisions, okay. So one of the major aspect of having Fusion application is you have your embedded analytics in fit, okay, and really alive for all the products. Okay, it's alive for financials as well as it's live for a project portfolio management. Okay, so previously what was happening is, like, you all people are aware of release 12 project accounting module. Okay, you would not have much understanding about what is your budget, how it looks like in pie chart, how it looks like in a chart format, how it looks like, how there is a comparison when you have push your actual cost and your budgeted cost. You can't compare it on a fly itself. Okay, if you have your revenue generated right now, okay, by your program, you would need to run some processes. There's some background processes, and if you would have your business intelligence applications, then you would to have your fact tables get populated, interface that so most of things were not real time. Okay, so there were a lag, there were time lag depend on how you interface your data to business intelligence applications and get that entire reporting available. But then the main advantage is having Fusion applications, and which drives for PPM cloud is your real-time analytics. Okay, the embedded analytics, it's called embedded analytics. Okay, so as I already told you, there are various rules we'll cover, okay, and when we touch base on the security aspects or the role aspects. Okay, so here, and you would have your real-time project executive dashboards. Okay, you will have your project manager have access to their real-time applications, the real-time issues, the real-time your margins, your budgets, your actual cost, your exceptions, your key performance indexes. Okay, so you could compare your projects portfolios, in particular organization. Under the Oracle, there are different projects are running on, so you can compare those projects. So everything is happening in real time. Okay, you would just have the right access or right rules to make it work for you. Okay, so that is one of the major difference between what was there in the release 12 project accounting people and then here in a Fusion PPM application. Okay, so we'll see those roles. What is mean project executives, managers, accountants, and team members. Okay, in detail when we touch base on the PPM. Okay, so this drive insight is one of the key decisions. Again, the collaborative. Uh, there were a project collaboration is one of the model is in release 12 project accounting. Okay, which is rarely been used. I never seen in my entire life or never even heard who has used that. But then these people has actually do away with that separate model, but then have their project collaboration easily uh, integrated in the Fusion application itself. Okay, so you would have your SCN or OSCN, so Oracle Social Networking or Oracle Social Management. So you would have your Oracle Social Management enabled your for project management, and you can easily have a chat window open, and then you can talk to the people, you can share your information, you can share your screen, you can share the project data. So a lot of things you can do collaboratively. Okay, so it's like you can share, you can have your everything like project tasks and to-do list. Okay, to-do tasks also. You can have share your project calendars. So you can have everything on the instance itself. Like let's say for there is a team member who is doing some task. The task is assigned to one of the team member. Okay, and he is stuck somewhere. Like he wanted to chat with the project manager and wanted to understand that there is something missing or there are some inputs are required. Then he need not to wait and email and wait for their response. You can just directly go and then open your Oracle social networking chat window, have your project manager tagged in, chat with them, share that whatever the MD50 is there, have their review comments, and then close their tasks. So it is like it's a real collaboration happening, everything live. So it is one of the key changes from e-business suite release 12 project accounting with cloud PPM overview. Okay. So this is one of the design driven decisions. Okay. The people centric. Okay. So again, I really rarely seen people using a project resource management module in e-business suite. Okay. The reason was it was not up to the mark. In fact, Oracle, I heard that Oracle never must recommended this model to people and the customers. Customers lot of issues. There were no insights. Okay, it was very clumsy. Okay, but then here they have got a lot of things changed. But then again, it's very I don't know whether customer will opt for this or not. But then this is one of the major driven decisions they have changed. They have aligned, the skills, experience, and a lot of stuffs in as a global people's repository where they manage. There is one module in HCM, Human Capital Management. It's I think talent management. So they have their entire a detailed level uh, uh, employees profiles been stored there. They have their entire skill sets, their proficiency, their number of years of experience, uh, uh, then their capabilities, their certifications. So a lot of things been stored in talent management. So you can have the tight couple integrations, or you can say the seamless integrations with the PPM resource management, and then have your resources searched easily. Okay, so so that becomes so easy, and then your filters have changed drastically. If you wanted to search one of the candidate for a specific skill set, depends on his availability, depend on his location, then that flexibility has really improved a lot. So you get a global insight in resource skills and availability, which was not up to the mark in release 12 e-business suite project accounting and project resource management module. But then in my like people, I don't know, like customers are still more inclined to traditional project accounting modules like project foundation, costing, billing in PPM also, because I've worked many proposals and the people, and I've seen that customers are very much interested looking at first on project costing and project billing. In fact, for project management, they would love to have Primavera rather than cloud project management. But then, okay, keep it aside. So I think we are not going to see how Oracle's future will be. But then I believe, like, at least the costing, billing, and the foundation side, they are far better than the rest of the models. And maybe like customers are very comfortable with their own resource management or own project management. I would definitely recommend a Primavera for a project management than the own project management cloud offering. But then it depends on the choice to choice the customer. So okay, then this ultra efficient, like this is another huge change you would see. Your processing and productivity and integration has far way richer than your release 12 project accounting. Okay, so you would be running so many processes for doing simple operations, from importing your transactions to costing your transactions, streamlining those transactions, interfacing it to GL, interfacing it to FA, or interfacing it to AR. Now it becomes like, just a quick click. Okay, we will see that when we actually come across costing and the billing session, we will see that, how that actually becomes so easy. It's really become easy. Most of things, like, you don't know the costing is already generated, and when you interface the transaction, the costing is already accounted. You need not to run the costing process at all. So that's a huge difference, which is we have seen. Okay, so we'll see it once we actually see the application and then start working on a flow. You will do yourself notice it. Okay, so now it's a more on control, like everything is standardized. Okay, so tracking and monitoring the business processes, the financial reports, the profitabilities, everything is because it's centralized and it's standardized. It's becomes so much in control for the user. The person who is the project accountant and the project administrator and the project manager, so project managers and the project accountant duties can overlap. Okay, so but then project manager are so much busy person who deals with lot of detail in the project, and wanted to see a lot of things as an overview also. But the project accountant managed many projects in their division. Okay, and they wanted to have the glimpse of everything in central process. So because of these things have been role based, centralized, and efficient, your control is in a greater shape compared to what there in release 12 uh, e-business suite project accounting model. Okay, so we'll quickly walk through the cloud PPM life cycle. Okay, this life cycle is a self-explanatory, but then you would see there are a lot of people playing different roles into different areas in their project portfolio management life cycle. Okay, so it's always like the you own the customer, you have your contract, so there's a contract manager comes in the picture. Okay, so once you own the contract, you would have your project manager start working on the project. So you would see this planning, the project planning happens, the project scheduling happens, excuse me. Okay, so plan and scheduling comes under project manager point area. Okay, then you would have your budget and forecast ready. Okay, because you can't just start project from a scratch without having a budget. Okay, so project accountant works on a budget because accountant is responsible for many such projects, so he knows what kind of budget is there. So you would have your budget forecast. So you would have your now you need people on the project, so you would ask your resource manager to get those people rightly skilled, rightly timed, available on your project. So your assigned resourcement completes by project manager and resource manager both coordinatingly. Okay, and then you start executing the project. Okay, and then you measure the project performance. On the other side, project accountant have your entire people who working the timesheet cost, the expense cost, your procurement cost, your inventory cost. So a lot of cost comes and dump into the project cost. Okay, by the time, and then you would generate your revenue and billing, and then have your invoicing a customer who pays. Okay, and then looked into entire thing in the project performance, managed performance by project executives. So project executives are the people who actually look into their top level managers, management people who looks into the project performance, ranging from their cost accountability to their revenue margins to their timely completions, the percentage of completions, managing customers, looking at their cash flow, identifying the budgets, so a lot of steps, and here on the top right hand side corner you would see the team members who are actually working, collaborating and making entire project successful. So this is a simple PPM life cycle management, PPM life cycle, and the project management flow, and we would be covering most of it, and then we'll see which roles take care in which process part. So any questions over this? I believe please shout me if there are any questions. Okay, so this is nothing a different slide. We have already talked much about it, but then I just wanted to highlight it. Like we talked about a very generic cloud deployment. Now we are actually talking about the PPM deployment, a PPM cloud deployment. Okay, so there is a flexibility which is given to the customer by Oracle product development team to have your PPM deployment ready. Okay, so what on your left hand side you see that there's a standalone. That what do you mean by standalone is like just a PPM is divided into two parts. One is project execution management and project financial management. Okay, so project execution management actually covers a lot about project management, resource management, task management. Okay, and project financial management covers a lot about uh, the project control, project costing, project foundation, and project billing. Okay, so you would not only opt for entire PPM, but then you would only opt for project execution cloud. Okay, as offering, and then have your everything runs. You don't need costing and billing because you don't are interested in costing and billing because you don't want to see the costing. You just wanted to have your project executed, and the revenue and invoicing you're managing in Oracle receivables or cloud finance. So you would have your standalone implementation as a project execution, whereas in integrated you would have your project financials and project executions have everything placed in one cloud. Okay, as a SaaS, software as a services, and have your integrated approach, whereas you can have the coexistence. Okay, with your e-business suite, your project accounting, where costing, billing, which is very very highly demanding products runs in e-business suite and customers also comfortable running them in e-business suite, your project execution can be there on a cloud. Okay, so that's coexistence is possible. So Oracle gives you all this flexibility for your coexistence uh, with with other applications suite. Okay, so I just wanted to highlight this. That's why.
Question.
So yeah, please.
In what instance have you seen clients choose the project execution and not include project financials? So, for instance, they will be using the social, the mobile. What are they doing on the cloud? And of course, they gain the analytics of the financials. But what are they doing on the cloud on the project execution? And in what instances would they not want to use to bill as well as to recognize revenue?
Okay, so okay, let me frame your question. Okay, so your question is, in what instances customer would opt only for project execution and not for project financial management where they don't do costing and billing, right? Is that your question?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. So it depends to business cases where you are in such an industry where, let's say, example, there is an industry called event management. Okay. So you would have lot of event management, okay, that encompasses across multiple domains. Like there is a media event management, there is a automobile event management, there is advertisement event management. So anything comes under event management or hotel event management. Okay, so if you looked at the event management kind of industries, so in such industry where they have to manage event from scratch, okay, from one point to another point, like to the execution. So their emphasis to conducting event successfully is very much important. Okay, so they would have lot of teams working collaboratively in different locations to make that event very much successful. Okay, so in that case, okay, they need to collaborate, they need to socialize. Okay, they need to have a detailed a project management plan. Okay, and they need to have their a very high control of their visibility, what they're doing. Okay, if there are any issues, there are any changes, and there are any requests, okay, then they have to manage it in very detailed level. Okay, so in such cases, their entire emphasis in executing that particular event, okay, and not accounting how much the cost, and how much would be the revenue, because in that case the agreement generally happens is like, this is the specific cost they have to manage. Okay, and this is what the customer is going to pay. Okay, so this everything that can be covered under, Oracle receivables, just raising invoices and make the customer pay what that particular event was about in a lump sum or in a partial basis, whatever it is. Okay, and you would have your project execution management comes in a picture and have your detailed project management plan ready and project execution plan executed, and the task have been assigned to people, the people collaboratively executing it, the issues been raising it, and the reporting is giving the reports to the customers or the other teams. So in this such specific cases where people are not much more interested about their revenue, they would have the project execution management comes in a picture. And then under the project execution management, there is a smooth mobile application Oracle provides. Like, Oracle is out of box gives mobile application access to the team members as well as project managers. Okay, so when the project managers actually log into the mobile applications, they would see what is the exact status of the project and the status of these issues and the tasks, and they can assign those tasks to the team members. The team members can see those tasks assigned to them, worked on them. They can share their calendars, okay, and then they can deliver or deliberate those tasks to other people. So like both work on the mobile application as well as on tab application. So this has been given to project execution execution management.
Thanks. And then just point on the project financials within the integrated model.
Mm-hmm.
You have project financials, which presumably is the costing and billing of the project. And you're saying that you can include that, or you can still use the financials that's outside of project financials. Is that correct?
No, I didn't get your question. Can you please say it again?
So within the integrated model,
mm-hmm.
where we have project financials, which is highlighted in orange,
mm-hmm.
and then you have the regular financials, which is highlighted in gray,
mm-hmm.
what is the relationship between those two financials? If you can please elaborate.
Okay. The financials in a gray, it's your conventional financial applications, Fusion applications like GL, general ledger, account receivables, account payables, so those applications, and those are tightly coupled with the project financials. Okay, so let's say project financials has a project costing and billing, as you already understood. Okay, so when you cost few transactions, okay, and then that cost need to go to general ledger, you would have those costs, okay, interface it to GL, general ledger module. So your project financials and the financials, you need not to design any integrations, you need not to plug any adapters. There's a seamless integration. So there are processes. By a click, you would see that entire cost been interfaced into GL as a journals. Okay, so that integration, it's tight integration under one cloud. Okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
Well, can you please share the content? Are you going to cover the financial management and execution management both?
Currently, the scope is only financial management. Okay, about the execution management, generally, I haven't seen any trend where those gets covered in training, and then it's not demanding much as well compared to financial management. So currently it will be project financial management only, but in future we would be trying to cover project execution management in a separate training. But then current scope is project financial management only.
Okay. I have a question. So one of the reasons why I will be interested in the PPM project training is to be able to understand some of the finer usages, things like project classifications, and what we can put in within what sort of attributes, project attributes I can put on my project class versus attributes that I can put on my DFF, and then how I can use my SLA roles to be able to drive the accounting on that project class or on the DFF to be able to populate the right segment of the chart. So is that something that we will be covering as part of this course, as part of this training?
Yes, so project classification it's definitely covered. It's one of the prime attribute. Okay, and SLA configuration is also being covered, which is also one of the prime attribute. Okay, about enabling the DFF and making that DFF okay into SLA, which I could cover it. Okay, provided we have a time. Okay, and then like on a request I could cover it because it's like it's possible. But then the standard agenda is we would be covering our SLA, and in the SLA we would be covering the rules. Okay, and we would also understanding how the mapping set being used under those rules, and what is the different applications of the rules combining with the mapping set and supporting references in the SLA. So we would be talking about it, okay, so that eventually by time when we complete our training, you would be in sufficient position to do, play with this and then have your, own solution ready. Okay, so
Okay, excellent. And then in addition to that, are we going to be doing anything as far as time and labor is concerned? So the interface coming from OTL?
uh, the time and labor is actually in scope of human capital management, okay, having integration with the project. My current understanding would be covering the pre-approved expenditure batches, the miscellaneous transaction batches. But then I will try to cover the time and labor as well. Okay, and we could cover it post costing. Okay, so we'll complete the entire costing, have a complete understanding over the costing, and we could try to cover the time and labor, because the only problem is, like, since it covers in human capital management, I need the assistance from the SCM guy who can configure OTL and then have the project integration. So once this OTL been configured by the HCM guy, we already have our project and expenditures and those attributes are ready, so we can just enter a time and then fetch that time to the project. Okay, so that's a extra bit we'll try to cover post costing, provided I get that assistance from HCM guy. But then the idea is for you to understand the important costing flow, how the costing gets integrated from peripheral systems, and then how it's actually its relevance in project portfolio management, and how it's important for capitalization and for revenue purpose. So we'll try to cover that aspects, which is prime aspects first, and then we'll touch base on the OTL, provided some preconditions get satisfied.
Sure, because I'm currently working on a project where the bulk of my cost is time and labor. So
Okay.
if I don't see that, this particular training is not going to have that much value to me. That's why I think it's very important. So I think as an action item on your part is to just let the Laxman or the HCM guy know that we will need input in configuration, so that we'll be able to leverage that down the line.
Yeah, sure. I take up this request, and then I'll keep a note of it, and then we'll surely have worked on it. And
Okay.
in case if unfortunately something doesn't work, we'll try to see that we would sufficiently cover the aspects where you would be comfortably doing it in your project, and if any issues, then we can connect and we can try to help you out. Hello, I couldn't hear you. Hello.
That's it. Thank you.
Hello.
Okay.
Well, in the project financials, what you're going to cover? Controls and foundation, costing and billing and contracts?
Yes. Yes.
Well, we have another topic called grants management. Are you going to cover that?
Sorry, which management you're saying?
Grant management,
No,
grants.
no. Grant management is a separate project family itself. Okay, I'm not going to
Yeah,
cover
yeah.
it, but then let me tell you, the grant management works in federations. Okay, specifically, where only public sectors customers use the grant management, where the grants flows from one activity or one project to multiple projects. Okay, so grant allocation is a separate scope, okay, or a separate business case itself. So grant management is out of scope.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I'm asking one question. It's out of the box. Just don't mind. Uh, Hello.
Yeah, yeah. Please go ahead.
See, I have a requirement. I need to convert my legacy data to the Fusion, Fusion projects. Like, in the legacy, I have open project. I need to, migrate to Fusion projects. So it's like same like EBS, or the process is different. I've seen there's some kind of FBDS, like the. I mean, do you have any default templates like that?
Yes, absolutely right. You are right. So Oracle has made these things very seamless now. Like it's very user friendly. They have provided file database import functionality where you do have those templates. Okay, get it filled by your customer. Okay, upload those templates using Content Manager. Okay, and then run the input processes so that you would have your entire project cost, those gets migrated from your the file to the cloud PPM or the Fusion PPM. Okay, so that's the only way out there as of now to migrate, stuff from your legacy to cloud.
Okay. And okay, I will, I came to know that they've removed the indirect project and they've introduced it's called hybrid project. And I don't know, but I've exactly, I've heard about it.
No, I don't heard about hybrid project, but
I mean,
then
they said it can be used as a capital and contract both. The project can be used as both.
yeah, see what they have done is that they have done little smart work. Okay, they have tried to normalize things. So in e-business suite, we have three classifications: indirect, capital, and contract. So here they have, when we'll talked about when we actually create a project type. Okay, but then let me tell you. So when we create a project type, they have given that enable that project for capitalization and enable the project for billing. Okay. So if you enable those options, okay, then that will be work for a capital project if you have capitalization enabled. If you enable the billing, it will work for a contract project. If you don't enable, it's an indirect project. Okay. So they have removed the
Okay.
type itself, it's a smart way of doing it, but then, the project remains indirect automatically if they don't enable it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, just I was asking my last question. Just I've started some working on the project side. Just I came to know the project unit they have introduced in the PPM.
Yes, absolutely right. Okay,
Then if someone asks what's, yeah, yeah.
sorry, go ahead, please go ahead.
No, if someone asks difference between the business unit and the project unit, I mean both are same. It's something like different. Both are
Okay. Actually, we'll touch base upon when we actually cover in project unit, but then, okay, just give you brief. The project unit,
okay.
you can consider that there are project operations. Okay, in any industry, there are project operations. Let's say for IT industry, because most of people who work for IT industry, so taking IT industry example would be very beneficial for all. Example, in IT industry, there are projects which is the implementation or development projects. Okay, and there are projects which are support project. Okay, and there are projects which are networking project, like infrastructure management project. Okay, so now uh, these all projects come under one business unit. Okay, that business unit sees it's a Mumbai business unit. Okay, because all operations comes under Mumbai business unit. Okay, or all operations comes under let's say L&T, Larsen and Toubro Infotech, uh, Infotech IT operations. Okay, so we'll consider that Larsen and Toubro Infotech IT operation is a business unit. Okay, because this is how they wanted to segregate the data. Okay, let me mute these guys. Okay, okay. So, but in this business unit, you would have your implementation project should follow a separate business process. Okay, so let's say for implementation project, you want your project numbering is automatic. Okay, but for your support project, it should be numbered. Okay, so like in this case, you would have different operations. Okay, then that operations you covered into the project unit. Okay, so project unit is actually covering your project operations aspect. Okay, your business unit covering your business operation aspect. So business unit is more for your reporting purpose. You have your revenues and you have your costing summarized at particular logical entity level. Where project unit is, it's nothing to do with that. Project unit is like enforcing a standard project processes across that particular project unit. So did I cover the your question?
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. Any questions or else we'll close. It's already 11:30. It's supposed to cover only 1 hour, but then it took 2.5 hours. Exact 2 hours. Okay.
My last request, but if you have time, just please cover the project execution management and movement also. That would be helpful for us.
See,
I mean, not really, yeah.
yeah. The idea is at least this training we could concentrate on the project financial management aspect. You guys should get a hold of first a very high demanding products in the market, which has been asked by customers most oftenly. Okay, and once you get familiar with these aspects, and once you have your entire financial management understanding, okay, it would be very easy for you to have the project execution management aspects clear in next training. Okay, otherwise you would be jumped or you would be bombarded with lots of information and then quite possibly confused with where to concentrate. So that has happened with me as well. So I don't want that approach, and definitely there will be a scope, but then not in this training, but then in next training. So we will try to cover that, but at least the scope for this training is on a financial management aspect. uh, Is that answer your
Yeah, it's
question?
okay. Yeah,
It's okay.
sure. Thank you very much.
No problem. So thank you guys. Really, you listened to me from last 2 hours very patiently, and I hope I try to answer your question as much as I can. For those who I cannot, I'll try to come back possibly whenever I have positive updates, and let's have learning fun, and then we'll learn collaboratively. If you have any inputs, if you go back, if you Google it, if you find it something, then please do let me know. I'm also learning along with you because learning never ends. It's a journey we collaboratively go and then understand and makes better day by day. So thank you so much. Now I'm closing. Take care and have a nice weekend. Bye bye. Vasu saying I missed your introduction. Vasu, my name is Rohit. I'm working for an IT company, and I have 10 plus years of experience. Major experience is on Release 12 e-business suite as well as project portfolio management. Last 2.5 years I started working on project portfolio management, and like various versions I've worked upon, like from Release 12, e-business suite from 11i to Release 12, and from Fusion PPM from Release 6 to Release 11. So I think that's sufficient. If you wanted to have any contact or any understanding, communication, then just route it to Laxman, who is the ERP training facilitator. So we'll in touch. Hope that's fine, fine, Vasu. Yes, Vijay. Vijay is asking whether can I share the recording. Yes, I'll share the recording with Lakshman. Then it's Lakshman will share it, with all of you. If no, it depends on Lakshman. So I'll share it as per my job or duty. Anything else? I hope thank you so much. It's wonderful, Vasu. Thank you so much. Tomorrow session will be covering for 1 hour. Will be covering about the roles, about the Fusion setup management, about a few aspects to it. Okay, so we'll be covering that. Tomorrow session will be a 1 hour session. The tomorrow session will start at 9:30, same time we have started today. And then ends at 10:30, or it will get extended if things not covered. Hope it's fine. Okay, so it's time to leave. Goodbye, guys. Take care, and then have a nice weekend. Enjoy, and then have good learning. Bye bye. Yeah, you too. Bye.